everyone. Welcome to yoga today. Today we are going to be learning about another culture that we have in abundance here in Minnesota, specifically a lot of these people in St. Paul. And that is the culture of Hmong. Hmong culture, it's spelled H-M-O-N-G. I have some information here about Hmong people. They are of Asian descent. Let's see, they came over mostly in the mid-1970s after the Vietnam War because a lot of Hmong people fought alongside Americans, and when the Americans left, then the Hmong people also needed to leave Vietnam because they were in danger. They escaped to refugee camps in Thailand, and 90% of the people who made it to Thailand, not everybody made it, it was a very dangerous journey. 90% of the people that got to the refugee camp have come to the United States. And most of the people that we have in St. Paul came at that time, and the people that came, the refugees, and then their children are the people who now are our neighbors in St. Paul. Let's see. They are a very, very spiritual people. They have a very unique faith system. And let's see, another part of that faith system is that they have many generations that live together. The grandparents live in one home, the parents, the children, and maybe even the children's children. I spoke with someone who is from the Hmong culture, and she said that's why she thinks that their grandparents live so long, because they are an intricate part of everybody's life. Yeah, so that's what I have here about Hmong people. It's really an interesting, wonderful, vibrant culture. The book we're going to be reading today is called The Most Beautiful Thing, and it is written by some Hmong Americans and also the author here. So, friends, today, how that's going to tie into our yoga practice is by way of transition. People who leave their culture have an extreme change from where they lived, their homeland, to where they come. We, as a people in the United States, are undergoing smaller changes, but changes nonetheless. We have a new president. Today, the day I'm recording this, we have a new president. So that will cause some changes here in our country, something exciting to see what that will be like. As school children, the younger kids will be going back to school, I believe, next week. Not everyone. My kiddo's staying home, but many, many kiddos are going back to school. That's a change. And then let's see, what else do I have here? Well, how that ties in with our poses today, or our forms, is we're going to do some new forms. And they're going to be some kind of challenging ones. I thought we should mix it up a little bit. And we're going to have to focus on those to do our yoga poses in a new way. Just like when you go from an old routine to a new way of being, you have to focus in a different way. You know, like when you start going to school, you have to maybe set an alarm or get up earlier, and the whole day goes a little differently. And then after a few weeks, you kind of get into a routine. Well, today we're going to practice doing something new and using our brains that way. Also, we're doing one particular balance pose, and you can do it with or without a chair. So I brought in a chair because we all know, one, balance is hard for me. Two, I think most of you might want to start with a chair because it's very helpful in doing the pose, and you can always let go when you're ready. So you could have your chair, or if you're in your room, you could use your bed, or even your kitchen table, whatever. Just something to rest one hand on while you're trying a new pose. All right, oh, also we are listening to some Hmong music here in the background. I have really enjoyed learning about these different cultures with you guys, and I hope you have too. All right, friends, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start our poses today in the same way that we usually do, with our child's pose and cat-cows and down dogs. And then we'll go into our challenge poses, okay? Let's see, let me pull this up here. Okay. All right, friends, so if you would like, oh, I forgot our breath. I will scooch back up here. One thing we are going to do to begin is something that's not new, our 5-finger breath. Because remember, your fingers are something you can take with you. And when you are also transitioning, maybe back to school or what have you, you can have this calming technique with you, okay? So hand up if you'd like. You know what to do. Put your thumb at the base of your pointer finger. Here we go. Tracing up, inhale. Tracing down, exhale. Tall finger, inhale. Tracing up, exhaling, tracing down. Ring finger, inhale, tracing up, exhaling, trace down. Pinky finger, inhaling, trace up, exhaling, trace down. Ring finger, inhaling, trace up, exhaling, trace down. Tall finger, inhaling, trace up, exhaling, trace down. Finally, pointer finger, inhaling, trace up, exhaling, trace down. Okay, friends, let's go ahead and scooch back on our mat now and come into our child's pose. Knees together, knees wide, walking your arms down, resting your head on the mat or on your stacked fists. Once again, feeling your belly rise and fall against your legs. Realizing that all the cultures that we have talked about come from places on the globe, that these oceans with the waves, just like our belly breaths coming in and out, all those oceans connect all of the cultures worldwide. Pretty amazing. Let's take 2 more big breaths. Your next inhale, I will also cue our breaths again today. You can follow the breath cues or not. It's totally up to you. But for our cow, we'll drop our belly, inhale, head and tailbone to the sky. Exhaling, arch your back. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, arch your back. Feel free to go with your own pace here. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, arch your back. Okay, friends, let's bring our hips back to our feet into child's pose. Keep our arms extended and walk our arms to one side of our mat and push into our other hip. So you're getting a nice stretch on this side of your body. Take a big inhale and exhale here. On your next exhale, walk your hands back to center and inhale your hands to the other side, stretching this side back into your hip. Good. Let's walk our hands back to center and then tuck your toes if you'd like. Walk your hands one step forward. We'll bring our hips to the sky for downward dog. If you'd like, you can bend one knee and then the other. Just stretch out your legs and your back a little bit. Once you feel comfortable, you can find some stillness in your downward dog. Take a big breath in and out here. And then your next inhale, you can shift forward into your high plank. We're going to do our push-up pose. So remember, legs up or down. Keep mine up this time. So inhale here, exhale down, inhale up, exhale into child's pose if your knees are down, and we all meet together in downward dog. Another big breath in and out here. One more. On your next inhale, shift forward once more into your high plank. Knees up or down. I think I'll drop my knees this time. Inhale here. Exhaling down to the mat. Inhaling, push up. Exhaling, I'm going back into child's pose because my knees are down. And then we all meet in downward dog. Very good. Okay, friends. Now here comes our kind of fun different poses. Inhale here and exhale your feet together. Inhaling your arms up overhead and exhale to your hands to heart center. Okay, I'm gonna get all my clothes here adjusted. Okay, friends, we are gonna go into chair eventually. So if you like your feet together for chair, keep them together. Otherwise, I like my feet about hip width apart. That's your choice, either feet together or feet apart. To begin, we'll lift our arms up overhead. Take a big breath here, and then exhale into chair. Now this is gonna be kind of a challenge sequence here. We're starting in chair. Stay here for a minute. Big inhale, and exhale. Now, friends, I think you can see my feet. We're gonna bring our heels up off the mat. So our heels, we're kind of standing on the balls of our feet. You can look at something that's not moving. This is a bit of a challenge. And then friends, you're welcome to stay here or keep your heels off the ground and bend down. Come down a little more. Don't sit on your feet. Slower down. I feel my legs really working. Come back up. Drop your heels. Come back to mountain. And hands to heart. Woofda! That's hard work. All right, friends, let's try it again. You know what, guys? I noticed that my nose, I start sniffling when I'm doing these videos. I think it might be my mat. Anyway, I apologize for the sniffles. I'll try to take care of that. All right. Inhale your arms up overhead once more. And now we'll exhale into chair. Big inhale and exhale here. Inhale your feet, your heels off the ground. You're balancing on the balls of your feet once more. You're welcome to stay here for your balance or to try to lower down a bit. Really engaging your thighs. It's a lot of work there. Woo. All right. Come back up. Drop your heels. Come to mountain. Hands to heart center. Very good. Tried something new. All right, we have another thing to try in chair. This is called a standing figure 4. So what you're gonna do, you might wanna use your chair already, or maybe not. What you're gonna do is come into chair. So your knees are bent, just like usual, right? And this time, you're gonna put your weight in your standing leg. Choose the other one to come off. And you're gonna cross your ankle over your leg. See, can you see me? Let me back up just a little bit. You cross your ankle over your leg. Here's your figure 4. We've done this before on our back. Once you catch your balance, you can extend your arms like we do for chair. Or you can have them at heart center. Whew, this is challenging. There we go, I fell out. I'll try one more time. Let's see if we can do it one more time on that side, guys. Maybe a different place for your hands. I'm gonna hold on to my chair till I think I got it. There. Maybe hands out to the side would be helpful. Let's see. Yes, it is. Okay, good. My standing leg is a little tired. I'm gonna pat it down a little bit. All right, let's go to the other side. So let's choose whichever side you were not standing on before. Stand on it this time. Bend that leg into a chair leg. Once again, crossing your ankle over your thigh. Your hips are back. All right, so you can choose your arms now. If you'd like them straight out, at your heart center, or to the side. Sometimes, guys, it's just fun to play a little bit. Ooh, it's a good thing I'm not on a trapeze. We'd have trouble. Okay. There. Maybe you can try another variation with your arms in a different spot. Ooh. All right. We're working together, aren't we? Good. Okay, guys. Let's come to seated here. Okay, I had one more. Oh, let's do our dancer pose. This is the one that's going to be really fun. Okay. So friends, if you'd like to stand facing your chair, put one hand on the chair, and then your other hand is free because it's going to catch your foot. So the hand that you have on your chair for balance is the same leg you're going to stand on, right? So I'm using this hand for balance, and I'm standing on this leg. This leg, I'm going to kick up behind me like this. And then with this hand, I'm going to grab inside by my arch. Inside my foot by the arch, okay? And then I'm going to use my foot to kick back and bring my foot high to the sky. Now I'm leaning over so my whole forearm's kind of on the chair. That's fine. I'll kick my foot up and my hand is holding on to the foot. So it brings your shoulder back. This pose is called dancer with chair. Now, dancer without chair is also quite a lovely pose. I'm not sure if I got it in me today, guys, but what you do, let's see, put your hand out in front of you, like that. All right, you guys can try playing with that a little bit, huh? Such a beautiful pose. All right. When you're ready, and it doesn't have to be now, you can go to the other side. So I turn this way so I could still face you and have this foot toward the camera. So I'm standing now on my other leg. My other hand is on the chair. Raising my back foot, catching it with my hand on my arch of my foot, kicking my foot high towards the sky, and leaning forward. Then you can look at something that's not moving and try to release your front hand, your balance hand, or not. Either way, it's a challenging pose. But some of you guys are really rocking this because balance is your thing. Woo. I mean, 3 seconds is better than nothing, right, guys? Okay. What did you think? I thought it was time to mix it up a little bit, huh? All right. Let's come to seated on our mat, guys. We just kind of cranked on our back a little bit. So my feet are now in front, straight in front of me. We're gonna do a forward fold You can choose to have your knees up, give more room for your back to bend, or you can have your legs straight. Lean forward, leading with your heart. Remember, you can choose to lean forward any amount. It's totally up to you. Whatever feels good. It's fun to hear these different sounds of the words in the song, a different language. All right. From here, friends, we're going to do a seated balance. We've done this before. We called it flower. So my knees are up, my feet are together. I'm going to tuck my arm, so I'm putting my calf in the crook of my elbow here, and then I'll do the other one. So the seated balance pose of flower. So we'll do this for a stretch as well. Good job. And then for a super challenge pose, see if you can leave your legs here, grab a hold of your toes. Remember we did this last week. Straighten your legs into a wide-legged seated forward fold. Good. Try something different, huh? And bring our legs together. Release your toes. Bring your legs back to the ground. Good job, friends. All right, now we'll finish with our routine poses. Go ahead and lie back on the ground. Knees up and feet to the ground. We'll do our twist. So go ahead and let your knees drop to one side. Your nose faces the other side. You can take a couple of deep breaths here. Just to relax your body. Go knees back to the sky. Let them drop the other direction. Nose opposite way. Okay, friends. I'm going to grab behind my knees and rock up to read you the book. You're welcome to stay lying down on your surface or come to seated with me. It's up to you. We are going to read the book here. Got my readers on because aging. Here we go. The Most Beautiful Thing. Now, friends, this book has some words in it that I don't know how to say. I looked it up. Let's see, we'll check. Here they have a guide. Chew, it's chew. It looks like D-A-W-B is duh. Hmong, with an H does it. You can't hear the H. Lay, sounds about the same. This looks like you would say it me naib, but it's me nai. Me nai. Okay. This looks like, I don't know, but it's P, Nio, Vi. And this has lots of different kinds of letter combinations. We'll say Ba, Tkong. And if that is incorrect, and anybody who is listening knows it, I apologize for my pronunciation. Okay. My grandmother is so old. No one knows how old she is. Not me. Not my big sister. Duh. Not our older cousin Lay. My father waits patiently when we try to guess her age. He is my grandmother's 9th and youngest child. Even he does not know how old she is. We know that my grandmother was born on the other side of the world, across a wide ocean. My grandma came from a time and a place where creatures lurked in the jungles, waiting to chase unweary children. She told us that she once looked into the gleaming eyes of a tiger and felt its hot breath on her face. Oh my goodness. It's a little bit. Here. You see that, girl? I'll try to get that just right for you guys. Okay. It's darker, but there's no glare. Let's see. By the time I was born, my grandmother had already had an old woman's face. Her skin was soft but dry, like paper, and in her mouth was a single tooth. Grandma said, "It is the only thing standing strong in my mouth, this final tooth that my mother and father gave me." I asked to see a picture of her parents. She said, "Me nai, they lived in a time long before the Hmong learned of such things as photographs." She pointed to her heart. "The only picture I have of them is here." See what her mom and dad look like? That's a picture of her in her heart. The luckiest of the grandchildren got to help take care of Grandma. Lei got to wash Grandma's clothes by hand at the bathroom sink with sweet-smelling pink soap. Da got to wash Grandma's soft brown back in the bathtub with soapy clothes. It's very kind how they're taking care of their grandma, isn't it? And it probably seems unusual to most of us to care that way for our grandparents. It's not something every culture does. And me, I got to clip her fingernails and toenails while my grandma sat on her favorite stool in the light from the window. I can still feel the roughness of my grandma's heels in my hand, the thickness of her toenails in between my fingers. I can see the bottoms of her feet, thick and brown and broken, deep cracks filled with dirt from long ago and far away. See her grandma? And her foot, all rough and worn. Grandma told me that her mother and father died when she was a little girl. Grandma was just a child herself, but she had to take care of her two younger brothers and baby sister. I looked up at my grandma from the place where I sat at her feet, and I asked her, "How did you get food for them?" Grandma said, "I didn't find enough food. We lived always with hunger eating on us on the inside." All my life with her, even with just her one tooth, Grandma never said no to something to eat. You see her? Let's see. The ice cream truck was singing its song from down the street. I looked underneath the couch recorders. There were none, so I got ice cubes from the freezer. I offered one to Grandma in my red plastic cup, and she smiled at me. When I wanted a new dress to wear on the first day of 3rd grade, my mother said she did not have enough money. She found some nickels and a dime in her purse and offered them to me. I bought hard peppermint candies from the neighborhood grocery at the corner of our block. When I got home, I offered one to Grandma on the palm of my hand. She smiled at me. At the round table with its shaky legs, I used my spoon to mix and mix in the center soup bowl we all shared. There were no pieces of meat, only bones and soft greens. My father said, "The price of meat is too expensive at the market, Minai." I found a thick chunk of bone and offered it to my grandma on my spoon. She smiled at me. We had plenty of meat only when we celebrated Hmong New Year with our aunts, uncles, and cousins. The old table was heavy with whole boiled chickens, more than our family could ever eat. After dinner, our bellies full, my cousins and I sat on the carpet around Grandma as she told us stories. She always began, "It was a long time ago, and I was just a girl." As we listened, our eyes grew round. Grandma twisted her fingers one over the other to show us what the hands of, let's look at this word. Let's see. P-9-vai, jungle spirits, the size of children, looked like. She taught us how to listen for the cries of the fearsome P-9-vai, until our hearts pounded in our ears. There were jungle spirits. We were always sad when Aunt Chu called, "Time for the children to help clean up." On a cold day when the snow blew onto the window panes and the light was dim, I asked Grandma about the dirt in her feet. She told me she didn't have shoes after her mother and father died. She went shoeless to the mountains to tend to the family fields. She ventured into the jungle to look for wild roots, bamboo shoots, and edible mushrooms. And one day she was chased by a tiger. As she fled, her bare feet broke open on the fallen branches, and she still ran, blood and dirt mixing into clay with each step. I squeezed her feet in my arms and pulled them close to my heart, a hug for the hard road she'd walked to get to me. Can you see? Each year, cutting my grandma's nails went faster because I grew stronger and bigger and more able. Each year, Grandma's feet felt smaller and smaller in my hands and my lap. Her stories too slowed with the passing of years. The pauses between her words grew long. Can you see? Sometimes, as Grandma was looking for the words she'd lost to the years, I grew distracted from my task, looking at the toys on the floor that needed to be picked up, the unfinished schoolwork, the younger children who needed to be bathed. Her deep, even breathing would call me back to the moment, only to find her eyes closed in sleep, one hand braced against the window to cradle her head. I grew unhappy with our life. I was getting tired of ice cubes from the freezer when I wanted ice cream. I was tired of never getting the new dress for the first day of school. I was tired of gnawing on the bone in the soup when I wanted meat for myself and my grandma. One evening I studied my face in the bathroom mirror, wishing my teeth were straight. I came out of the bathroom and said, "Mom and Dad, I want braces. Can I have them?" My mother looked up from nursing my baby sister and said, "We don't have any money. Maybe next year?" My father looked up from my toddler sister who was bouncing on his legs and said, "I wish we could get you braces, Minai, but we can't right now." Minai means like sweetheart or honey. My grandmother looked up from her special stool by the big window. "Kalia," she said, "look at me." I turned to her in the glow of early evening. The sun was low in the sky, and its golden light fell on her face. Grandma asked, "Is my smile not beautiful?" In that moment, I could see all the times my grandmother had smiled at me. I could taste the cold ice cubes that melted summer's heat from our tongues, the sweetness of the hard peppermint candies, and the deep flavors of the bone broth in the bowls of boiled greens. Even now, I can still see my grandma's single tooth, white against the shadows, standing tall in her open mouth. Her smile was the most beautiful thing. What a wonderful book, huh? I don't know how many people in America live with their grandparents, but it sure is a special relationship that they get to have. They know them so well, huh? All right, friends. Well, to close, maybe we could send our volcano breath to a grandparent. Maybe we do live with our grandparents. Actually, some of you I know are very close with your grandparents. Maybe you could send your wish to them. Even if they have passed away, you can still send them your volcano breath. Remember, like in the invisible string story. All right, hands to heart. And envision who you'd like to send your breath to. Inhale. And send your wish. Sorry, this video got kind of long, but I think it was such a beautiful book. Talk to you later. Thank you.